Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the summary for the day of 342 for the 31st of January for the Ukraine war. And let's start off with the southern front. At the southern front, there is another incident along the Dnieper River, and there is a Ukrainian landing around this region here, and they got spotted. So it's not really an assault or amphibious attack. It's more like, maybe they are trying to position some troops here or something, or plant something, who knows. But they got spotted, and they got attacked by the Russian artillery. And because of the artillery shelling, the group did not attempt to do anything, and they retreated. So that's the situation over here. At this lake, they actually named this lake Krylik Lake, which is kind of very specific, oddly specific. So anyway, that's the situation for this one. And another incident along the Dnieper River was this shooting down of a Ukrainian Mi-8 over Zolota Balka. So not sure why the helicopter is flying around here. But this shows something is that despite we have nothing much happening around here, it does shows that the Russian forces do have defensive troops around this region, including surface to air missiles. So this is shot down by air defense. So this entire front line here is still a front line. Definitely that seems to be the case. Moving on to the Zaporizhia line, we have the entire Zaporizhia winter super duper uber offensive by the Russian forces is largely dead in the water. So to me, this is a huge Ukrainian success to prevent the Russians from breaking through, and whoever is commander here for the Ukrainian side should have a lot of credit. Over at the Novopil region, there is fighting reported around Novopil. North of Novoderivka, there is some fighting reported here. So that's all. Moving on to the Donetsk front. At the Donetsk front, we have a clarification. There is a geolocation reported by Deep State UA of Russian tanks operating at this position here. So as such, this actually indicates that the Russians actually have control around this region, which allows me to redraw the mapping. And this also based on the Deep State UA's mapping, because this information comes from Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source. This shows that Shevchenko is actually under Russian control. And this actually corroborated information that is actually pretty old. Since late September, the Ryber actually claims Shevchenko is under Russian control. And I did not corroborate, or I did not able to corroborate this information until now, 3 months later. So, or actually even 4 months later. So 10, 11, 12, 1. Yeah, 4 months later. So Deep State UA actually maps it in this way. I do not really check Deep State UA's mapping like daily. I simply just look at their reports. So because if I look at mappings, then it will actually affect my mapping. So I don't do that. But I just based on reportings. So with this information, we can confirm that Shevchenko is actually under Russian control. And over at the situation at Pelivka, there is not much details from what I've seen, except that there is fighting reported in the southeast of Voleda. And this the lack of explicit information to say that it's fighting in the urban region suggests that the fighting in the southeast is actually away from Voleda itself. Where exactly, I'm not sure. And the Ryber also reported that the Ukrainians continue to reinforce the city, which makes the city more and more harder to capture. So the entire Voleda offensive might start to look like it's gonna fail if the Russians cannot find another way to capture this. Information I just checked by Surya Maps. I'm not sure why Telegram have some bug, so it doesn't show message I didn't read from certain channels. Surya Maps reported fighting north of Mykolaiv around this region here. So yeah, that's that. Moving on to Marinka, there is fighting reported at Marinka on the western outskirts, according to Raiba. And over at the Povomaisky Pisky region, fighting is reported at Nevelske, according to Raiba as well as towards Severny. So the Russians are still pushing towards this direction, towards Severny. And moving on, that's all from the Donetsk front. Moving into the Bakhmut front, we have fighting reported towards Dilievka. No, this is actually old information. I forgot to change. So in all this, no, this does not happen. There's fighting towards Stoposhki, according to Raiba, and there is fighting reported in the area of Klishevka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. There's fighting also reported towards Nevelsky. So all these are similar situation. The development here is pretty much similar. The Russians are still making a sustained push towards their individual objective around this region. Over the Bakhmut city, we have detailed information. Not very detailed, but we again finally have some information from Raiba confirming that the fighting is still in the same regions around the meat processing plant, as well as in the Zabamutivka region. Yeah, around this region, this urban, this residential region here. So fighting remains to be here. No more fighting reported in the northern area or in the northeast or in the south. So the push is mainly around here. Over at the near to the Soledar region, there is fighting reported at Paroskofievka, according to Raiba, and there is fighting reported at Krasnohora, according to Deep State UA. And then Blahodatny, for the Russian Defense Ministry, finally catch up and announced the capture of Blahodatny. This is around a few days late as compared to the sources. And there is fighting reported in the area of Blahodatny, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, which makes it sound like Blahodatny is not captured. And further up north, we have fighting reported towards Vasilkivka, according to Deep State UA. And there is a capture. The Russian forces have captured Sako and Vansety. So according to War Gonzo, they reported that the Russian forces have captured Sako and Vansety. And this actually is significant. This information is corroborated by Deep State UA. The Deep State UA did not mention this by post. From what I monitored, if they did, then maybe I missed it. Their mapping actually shows this development actually, Deep State UA, and this is significant because previously I analyzed that the Russian forces can capture Vasilkivka to cut off this reinforcement route, this major road towards the Sivers front, and this road, reinforcement road from the south. I thought that the Russian forces will capture Vasilkivka, but instead they actually move northward just to capture Sako and Vansety, which actually does the same thing. They actually cut off the road, and which means that the southern approach to reinforce the Sivers front is now broken, which means that the entire southern part of the Sivers front will start to struggle a bit in terms of resupply and reinforcement, because any reinforcement now will have to take a longer route. So the Ukrainians previously can go through here to reinforce. Now this is gone. This is now taken out. This road cannot be used anymore. The Ukrainians only left with this road along the river to reinforce, or go through the north, through Ryo Alexandrivka, or go up the north through Zakivka, and then going through Sivers before it can actually spread out in terms of the resupplies and reinforcement. So this is actually a huge go around, a reroute of reinforcement route. So this is the situation the Ukrainians now face in the Sivers front. Fighting is reported at Rozdolivka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, and there is fighting reported at Sperne as well, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. That's all from the Sivers front. Over the Crimea front, the only active fighting is reported at Yampolivka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, where they reported that they have repulsed an attack from the Russians. And otherwise, the Russian Defense Ministry merely reported that there is shelling within the Serbiansky forestry, as well as at Yampolivka itself. So this Yampolivka one might have something to do with the Ukrainian report that this might actually be part of an offensive, this shelling report. And that's all from the Crimea front. Moving on to the Svatove front, we have nothing over here. Moving up north to the Kupiansk front. At the Kupiansk front, there is shelling reported at Tapaivka, and there is also shelling reported here at Masyutivka. This is both reported by the Russian Defense Ministry in the Kupiansk front. The fighting and attack reported at Vorishny and Granivkivka is not repeated today. There's no information about this fighting, so which means that this is not actually this report yesterday is really just a recon by combat. It was just a probing raid to test out the Ukrainian defense, and it's not a sustained offensive as I think it could be. So that's all from the Kupiansk front. Actually, this is reported yesterday. Yeah, today very off form. Missed out a lot of icons, and that's all. So it's a pretty short update today. Not much thing happened. Slow news day. So thank you for watching. Do press the like button. No, yes, you have to press the like button. Attack, and yeah, thank you for killing him. And I'll see you in the next update.